some facts and figures about the conference, just quickly to get us underway, to move on. Total number of delegates, in-person delegates, strangely enough, matches exactly the number of seats available in this room. So I might dig into that number to see if that's real. But in any case, the biggest, I think, maybe the biggest, it does not a competition anyway, a huge turnout. And I'm very grateful to you all, and more than half first-time attendees. Not surprisingly, a big European footprint, but pleasing to report all 6 continents, and indeed Antarctica, to some extent present too. And people literally from every country. It's time for me to move on also to a word of thanks, to begin to mention, of course, our key sponsors, our platinum sponsors, CDW and the National Archives, to thank also our gold sponsors, Archiva, Marxis, Artefactual, Iron Mountain, Preservica, Libnova, and Twist Bioscience. Thank you also to our silver sponsors, DocBite, Ex Libris, the Information Records and Management Society, and also to the bursary sponsors. We sponsored them ourselves also, but so did Portico, and also the National Digital Preservation Programme of the National Science and Technology Library of the People's Republic of China. I'm not going to go into the programme now and tell you all about it, but what I will say is a vote of thanks to you all, okay? Those who have led, those who have spoken, those who have contributed freely and generously of their wisdom and their time and their knowledge and their fun and the lightness of touch in their presentation. So can we just give a big round of applause? Oh no, almost. Big round of applause for all of those who have spoken at this conference and asked questions at this conference. Thank you. I'd say all of those who have done that at this conference, but of course there's more to come. And the professional visits are still to come. So the visits are tomorrow. And I very much hope you enjoy those. And I very much hope you participate and take advantage of that hospitality. It's only possible to do this sort of work with a massive team behind you. And so formally, I want to thank the programme committee. And I think the nicest way I can do that is as follows. Are you ready? This is the program. I'm not going to read them out because there's a lot of people on that program committee. But I think the one thing I can do for them now is this. They're just the program committee. And the point to make is they have discharged their responsibilities with vigour, with joy, with energy, with great wisdom, and I'm very proud to have shared the journey with them. Of course, the same is true, perhaps even more so, for the band of brothers. Am I allowed to use that? No, that's probably gendered now. For that band of siblings who have... oh, gee, I'm no longer for this century. But anyway, the band of siblings who between us have worked together to bring you here and to solve the problems and make it possible for us to enjoy so much fun at this conference. iPres 2022 was delivered by these people. We thank also our session chairs, our session co-chairs, the hundreds of reviewers, the volunteers in the mint green. The mint green wasn't my choice, but it's a nice choice nonetheless. We thank our commercial partners, so to speak, the suppliers. We thank Incovers. Can we thank the staff of the technology? There was a moment was it the first week in August, when the local organising committee decided it was time to go for something much, much bigger than we had expected. And those Glaswegians in the room will understand that it went under the code name Operation Biggin. So Operation Biggin caused us to transform the venue from a small group of about 100 to a massive platform of 437 in this room alone. And the Technology and Innovation Centre made that possible. And I'm very grateful to them. And not only for that, for the hard work, the service, the food, the drink, all of that. Let me thank also Cameron Events. You never get the thanks you deserve. So thank you. If you listen very carefully, you can hear the online delegates cheer, okay? Thank you. In conference, we'll come to you in a moment. The staff of the Grand Central Hotel, the Lord Provost, the City Convention Bureau, on behalf of the people of Glasgow. And now we go into the really fun ones. The people who provided the cupcakes, the tartan, the big, massive... And I'm not married to Juan Bicaregui, by the way, let's... To Beetle Green, the designers, to the Peat Bog Fairies, whose music has accompanied a large number of the online sessions, as well as the families and friends who have supported us. I believe they're still out there. I'm led to believe. So they're there. Let me also briefly thank the global membership of the Digital Preservation Coalition, who asked us to do this, who thought this was a good idea, and for their support and their commitment to the cause. And in order to speak on their behalf, it's my pleasure to introduce very briefly from the Executive Board of the Digital Preservation Coalition, Edith Halverson and Roxana Maurer.
Hi everyone, we're really not going to keep you long, but we, on behalf of the Executive Board of the Digital Preservation Coalition, really wanted to say thank you to a few people in particular who have done really an amazing work, as we can all attest to. So we're going to start with the co-chairs responsible for communications at the Digital Preservation Coalition, the amazing Sarah Middleton and Angela Pugioni.
So Sarah and Angela, if you come on up, thank you.
No. Yes. And you have to be aware that they were not just responsible for communications, but also for the Digital Preservation Awards, which you have to agree were amazing, right? Now, we're going to go to someone who rocks some of the most amazing dresses, most of them with pockets, and I'm sure that women here are going to appreciate that. So give it up for Sharon McKean. So, Sharon was responsible for all the amazing social events we had, including the quiz yesterday evening at the conference dinner. Then we're going to continue with someone who rocked, as you saw, the kilt at the conference dinner yesterday, John Macmillan, responsible for the finance. And then responsible for all sorts of aspects in administration. Please give it up for Ellie O'Leary. We would also really like to thank two of the partners from In Conference, Amy Love and Joe Brown. Thank you very much. And now, of course, we cannot finish without thanking the one person whose name everybody here, I'm sure, knows. And we have to apologize to his wife, Mary Claire, his kids, and his dog, Buzz, that they probably haven't seen him in days. And that's because he did such an amazing work, and he was available from the sunrise sessions all the way to the end of the social events. So please, can I ask you to stand and give a really big thank you to William. Thank you.
Well, I know what I'm doing tonight. Right, so Seamus, no, I think Seamus had to go. He apologised, is that right? So Seamus was going to say a few words from the steering group. So I'm going to pass on from Seamus, that was my instructions, to pass on now to the most important two people in the room, to Chris Prom and Ruby Martinez, as well as online Tracy Seneca from the University of Illinois.
Wow. Wow. I really don't know where to start. I feel like I need to throw my deck out, my slide deck out, and just say two simple words, which are thank you, everyone in this room. The last few years, we've seen reality hit us on the head. We have grieved. We have all grieved. I've never been to a meeting where I've shed tears before, but I've shed tears twice at this meeting. And you know why? It's the first time I've felt professional hope in many, many years. And I thank you everyone for being part of this. There are pivotal moments, I think, in time, and I feel like this is one of those. So I just have to acknowledge that. I can't start anywhere else. And iPres, I've been looking for a professional home for many years, I'll be honest with you. This is my home moving forward. iPres is an organization of the future, not the past. Period. Several days ago, I was sitting at the Illinois desk while we were waiting for people to come by, and I turned to Ruby and I said, Ruby, I want you to think about talking and just telling the community as a new member what iPres means, what this means, what you want to accomplish in the future. So I'd like to turn the mic over to Ruby for just a few minutes to talk about this community.
Thank you. I almost said no. Also, please see our beautiful title slide that has no title but photos of the University of Illinois. Thank you, Chris, for the introduction. So before I start, I'm very happy. Can everyone hear me right now? Okay, yeah. I'm very happy that I recognize a lot more faces than I did on Monday. And I'm a relatively shy person, so it's just, it felt a little overwhelming being asked to do this, but I'm very glad that I'm here. So I was actually here yesterday for my first time presenting at iPres in person, because I did present last year. And I had a very unique technical difficulty in where the background to my presentation got converted to sand. For whatever reason, I don't understand, right? And it's going to be commemorated by this photo of sand. Because why not? I'm sure that technical difficulties are not only unique to my presentation, so I think that that's fine. These photos are brought to you by Sarah Middleton, who shared them with us at the last minute. But of all the stock images, I wondered, why sand? Why, you know, it's just such a random image, but, you know, I had people come up to me after the session telling me that I'd handled the situation very well, because it wasn't, you know, the image also distorted the text, and there was just like a lot. It wasn't going to be readable to anybody, you know. It's just like everybody just had to enjoy the sand for a little while, a lot more than I did at that time. But people were offering me words of encouragement, people that I knew, people that I didn't know, and it made me feel very welcomed and just less nervous. And being in the early stages of my career, this reassurance was so encouraging to continue to just be here. And like I said, I was apprehensive about speaking because I thought to myself, who was I to be talking to all of you when this is my first time being here with all of you, right? But I was feeling very much like an observer, just like I'm sure many people at the beginning stages of the career feel like, trying to dip their toes and see, is this the right place for me? And it very much feels like it's going to be the right fit. So I urge you not to underestimate the impact of first impressions and encouragement, because this makes all the difference, because it's made all the difference to me. So this conference has made me realize the importance of opportunities like these, and I have been fortunate to have been welcomed into the community and given the opportunity to learn, engage, and grow with all of you all. So when I think about iPres, I think about community and connection, and I think about how everyone in this room has a role. And as our world changes and new tools are developed, we are tasked with making sure that our past is not lost to time and that our present can be accessible in the future. And from the earliest days of digital preservation, though I may not have been there, people have shared with their experiences and research that we can learn from each other and build upon. And this is a philosophy, I believe, that continues to be one of the guiding principles for what we do and what we will continue to do. And it is with great privilege that this conference will be hosted by my alma mater, the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign, where we can continue to explore and evolve this philosophy and connect with one another again. With that, I'd like to hand things back to Chris to tell you more about Illinois, because I am from Texas, so this is not going to be my strong suit. Thank you.
Thanks, Ruby. Okay, so now it's my job to convince you all to come to Illinois. Okay, so I'd just like to start by reviewing where we've been. If this is working, 2016, Bern, wonderful city. I've been there not for the 2016 meeting, but wonderful city, global city, everybody loves it. Kyoto, another city we've all heard of. We all know Kyoto, right? Wonderful place. Again, I was not there. Let's see, what do we have next here? Oh, Boston. This is my first experience. Yes, thank you. Right, Boston, my first experience with iPres. Knew nothing about iPres. Somebody asked me to propose a workshop. I did. I met a wonderful group of people, began to tip my toe into the water. But again, everybody knows about Boston. Amsterdam, need I say more? Amsterdam? Come on. Who doesn't want to go to a conference in Amsterdam? Well, forget that. Okay, Beijing. I was really looking forward to going to Beijing. I mean, I have to tell you, it was not to be, but the Beijing folks put on a wonderful, wonderful conference. Okay, Glasgow. What more can we say? I mean, seriously. Champaign-Urbana? I mean, come on, what were we thinking? Okay, now the first question is, can we find Champaign-Urbana? Okay, that's where I wish it were. It's not. Okay, Yellowstone, it's wonderful, I've been there, but no, that's not Champaign-Urbana. Wall Drug, have you heard of Wall Drug? If you come to the US, you have to stop on it on your way to Yellowstone, okay? Niagara Falls, we're getting a little bit warmer. But no, it's not near any of those tourist attractions. It is right there, but that's where iPres 2023 is going to be located. Okay, so let me tell you about Champaign-Urbana. I grew up in the state north of Illinois, Wisconsin. Does anybody know anything about Wisconsin? Okay, cheese, thank you. Is there anything else you know about Wisconsin? What's that? The Packers, yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm beyond that at this point. But, the other thing you need to know about Wisconsin is if you're from Wisconsin, you do not like Illinois. Right? Because Illinois has Chicago, and they come in the summer and they drive past everybody's house on the way to some tourist destination that most of the rest of us could not afford to go to. Okay. So anyway, I moved to Champaign-Urbana in 1994, expecting to get out of town as quickly as possible, and I'm still there. It's a wonderful town. We have a Roger Ebert Film Festival, which unfortunately won't be happening when you're all there, but it's still a wonderful thing. We have a wonderful micro-urban environment. We have a wonderful set of parks and recreation, and most of all, we are all about connections. The University of Illinois is about connections. Now, in the popular mind, some of you may have seen this movie, 2004. Is that the title? No, that's not 2000. I have had way too little sleep the past week. Anyway, there's a killer computer, Hal, in the movie that was born in Urbana, so we don't want to really remember that part. If you think about Central Illinois, a lot of people have this on their minds. You know, we've got a lot of that. I mean, it's all around us. But in reality, the university is associated with some other really important things. Now, after Stephen's keynote, I'm not quite sure this is a positive thing, but the modern web browser was actually invented in Urbana by Mark Andreessen. So I guess in a little way, bringing iPres 2023 to Urbana may help us atone for that sin. Okay, so we have some other great things in Urbana. We have a wonderful set of Nobel Prize winners or other award winners who have made fundamental contributions, I should say, to science and technology. This is Carl Woese, discovered a third domain of life at the bottom of the sea, I would mention. So hopefully these aren't, killed by the submarines data centers. And we also have things like the invention of the Plato system, which is an online education program. Now, several days ago, I was talking to my colleague, Bethany Anderson, who we'll introduce in a minute, and she was saying, well, we really should talk about another thing. And I said, no, I'm not sure I want to talk about that. What she was mentioning was cybernetics. And cybernetics was associated with Illinois and MIT, actually, as well. And cybernetics, among many, many other things, which I won't get into here, two things you want to know about it. It's a lot like iPres because the inventor of cybernetics talked about self-organizing systems out of chaos, which is a little bit what iPres is, isn't it? And they also talked about an alternative future for the internet and had a vision of artistic engagement and other things that were part of that. So lots of good things about Urbana. Need to know about it. We are one of the top science universities in the country and just a wonderful place to visit. We also have a strong program in library and information science, #1 in the country, and a huge library system which is supporting this event. What I would like to do is tell you a little bit about the venue. We will be held at the High Hotel, which is a conference center on the edge of campus, and we will be in this building. You can see quite nicely we have a nice solar array on the top. So the campus is building sustainability in from the beginning. And I'd like to actually ask my Illinois team to stand up now so I can introduce you. So you have a wonderful set of people in the room here. I'm going to ask them to hand postcards out to you, while also acknowledging that online we have a few people who are unable to attend. This will be the last piece of paper you get from us, but it does promote our meeting for next year. After the meeting is over, we will have 3 excellent days in Champaign-Urbana. After the meeting is over, we will have cultural heritage visits and tours in Chicago. I'm co-chair of the organizing committee along with Tracy Seneca from the University of Illinois at Chicago. And because Tracy could not be here, we asked her to record a video voiceover telling you a little bit about what's going to happen in Chicago after the main part of the conference is over.
To invite you to visit our great city following the 2023 conference. We're working with the consortium's libraries, archives, and museums to open their doors for iPres 2023 attendees. The Chicago Collections Consortium members work together to provide access to the city's history and culture. Together, we provide events and exhibits, and we collaborate on providing cross-institutional support for Chicago research. The centerpiece of our work is Explore Chicago Collections. Explore Chicago Collections provides a single point of entry for researching Chicago history and culture, no matter where the materials are held. This includes both finding aids and digitized materials. If you'd like a preview of the kinds of materials available at our member institutions, just visit explore.chicagocollections.org. The over 50 Chicago Collections members include organizations large and small and highlight the range of cultural heritage institutions in the city. And of course, there are lots of other great reasons to come to Chicago. Our beautiful lakeshore, music, art, and architecture. So we hope to see you in Chicago after iPres 2023.
So there's Illinois. I was actually sitting in the seat over there the other day, and I noticed, or not the other day, just a few minutes ago, and I noticed something right here. So I guess you had it in mind from the beginning. You didn't even know it. So in any case, I have a video here, and I think I show the video now. Is that right? We were putting this together literally minutes before.
In a time of disruption, digital preservation requires innovation and continuity. We must find new paths forward while building on our past, staying linked not only to one another, but also to the new methods and technologies that are revolutionizing the way we learn and collaborate. Creating a growing network requires adaptability in the face of constant change. The University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign invites you to explore the current state of digital preservation at iPres 2023, a hybrid conference. We welcome you to attend on-site in Urbana-Champaign or remotely. The University of Illinois is home to one of the nation's largest research libraries, the top graduate program in library and information science, and digital repository services designed with preservation at their core, located in the pleasant micro-urban setting of a university town. Join us September 19th through 22nd, 2023.
So we have a clear challenge in front of us. We have climate change, we have COVID, we have all kinds of issues related to inclusion, diversity. We have a future before us. Please join us at iPres 2023. Thank you.
I think that's the official handover.
Yeah,
that's it. That's
no
it.
more responsibility. Thank you, Mario.
And so, ladies and gentlemen, we are done. We began with an offer of 100,000 welcomes, and by the way, we had to order some more. So we end, I guess, here in Glasgow, we end here in Scotland, and I guess in a slightly traditional way, just to say, here's a hand, my trusty friend, and gie's a hand of thine, for we'll tack a right good, no, I've got it wrong now. Jeez, oh. Here's a hand, my trusty friend, and gie's a hand of thine. We'll tack a cup of kindness yet for all lang syne. Thank you very much.